Man, oh man. So the Watcher update video at the time of this recording, the update was only posted on YouTube about 8 hours ago, and it's around 800,000 hits. And there are some mixed opinions on it. Those who feel like it's too little, too late. I'll never look at these guys the same way again. And this particular video, I wanted to ask the question of, can you forgive Watcher? Will you resubscribe to their channel? If you unsubscribed, are you just completely done with them altogether? For me personally, I first of all never expected the first video I did to get as much traction as it did on YouTube. Reading the comments and hearing from people who were like, well, it's good to hear from a fan of these guys give their thoughts and opinions on it. So that was a pretty interesting experience, to go through all the comments on the video and respond to as many as I could. And it was great to see other Watcher fans who voiced their opinions. And then earlier today, I want to say within an hour or less of when they actually uploaded their update video, I did a response video to that, and that video hit over 10,000 views in only a couple hours, and I responded to all the comments on that particular video. And yet again, I was really blown away by the in-depth comments I read. Those who voiced their opinions about whether or not they would forgive Watcher, or if they were done with them completely, or if it would just take some time for them to allow themselves to trust Watcher again. Because hey, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, hey, whatever the saying is. I know I probably messed it up, but I will say this. One of my favorite comments on the update response video I did was that trust is like a piece of paper. Once it's crumbled up, it will never be the same, no matter how much you try to flatten it out or get the edges from being crooked. It's never going to be the way it was before. So for me, let me just put it this way. Like I said in the update video response, I think they did as good a job as they could. I mean, they could have easily doubled down on the Watcher TV streaming service. They could have just ignored the backlash altogether, but they opted to make this video addressing the fan concerns. And I'm sorry, it's not funny, but one of the parts of the video where I believe it was Shane that said, over the weekend we read through. Again, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to crack up here, but the fact that he said, over the weekend we were looking at your comments and feedback, and I can't help but think to myself, these guys posted the video Friday, and because if I remember correctly, they had that one post that said, hey, we have a big announcement coming up, and people were like hype. And then they dropped the video Friday, goodbye YouTube, and they probably thought, well guys, we did it. We did it. Like they really did something big. And then to see it just crash and burn so horrifically. I mean, I remember in their video, Goodbye YouTube, somebody said they must be in the office in silence looking at the comments, because they were brutal. I mean, the comment section was one thing, but then, the traction they got online from this, all the major media platforms that were talking about their streaming service and whatnot, but then the backlash, like I said in several other videos I've done, you had these YouTubers with, hundreds of thousands, if not a million plus subscribers, talking about, Watcher and never even hearing of them before. So that just opened a whole new door of outlets covering Watcher. Now, I'll do a separate video on this about the fact that, was this kind of like a blessing in disguise, because Watcher got a lot of press about this. This fiasco with Watcher TV led to a lot of major outlets discussing Watcher as a company, meaning that far more people were exposed to Watcher pre-streaming service fiasco than ever before. So who knows, this could actually work in their favor, but again, that's a separate video in itself. But, I applaud the guys for, coming forward like this. Now, granted, if the backlash hadn't been, so intense, and if their subscriber numbers weren't going down so rapidly, if I remember correctly, according to Social Blade, they had about 2.9 million subscribers, 2.92 million subscribers Thursday. And then after they dropped the goodbye YouTube video, they lost close to 100,000 subscribers, going down to 2.84 thousand subscribers. It's actually kind of been in flux because, I guess some people changed their mind after the update. Others, probably went to the channel for the first time because everybody and their mom were talking about it. But like I said, I really do like the fact that they were able to address this, as quickly as they did. The title of my video was Watcher Entertainment finally, responds to or releases a statement to the backlash. But like I said before, they thought they did something big. Like, yeah, guys, this is a step in the right direction. But then this must have been the longest weekend of their lives. Just the non-stop bashing online, the dragging, people like, I never really liked their content much anyway. You know how it is whenever, a musical artist or like a comedian is in the fires of, the internet being dragged. Case in point, let's say, a big comedian like a Dave Chappelle or Cat Williams or whoever, they drop a Netflix special, but then the special isn't really funny. Or Chris Rock, drops a special and people don't think it's really funny. And then all of a sudden online, this person wasn't even all that funny anyway, despite the fact they've had decades in the game, movies, television shows, but, one special and all of a sudden, they're off. It's like, they really weren't that much anyway. No. But I do feel like, what I said, I stand by is that to me, Watcher Entertainment doesn't produce enough entertainment to my liking that I actually, would pay a subscription for. But aside from Puppet History, Top 5 Beatdown, and somebody in the comments mentioned Tourist Trap. That's the one I was thinking about. I love Weird Wonderful World, but Tourist Trap, I really love that one, especially when Snoopy gave Shane a hug after he had to ride the roller coaster. But yeah, they don't produce enough content that I love that I would go out of my way to pay for. And, like Ghost Files, Mystery Files, they don't have the same oomph, that charm that BuzzFeed Unsolved, Supernatural, and True Crimes had, at least in my opinion. But also a lot of people feel the same way, because in the comment section of my video, people are like, yeah, I noticed that too. They really don't have that same flair. I mean, what happened to them just sitting behind the desk with the black screen with the colored, text, yellow and blue? But yeah, I think that Watcher, I want to be honest here, I don't think this is going to be a major stain on their company. Yeah, it was a hot topic for 48 hours, but I feel like the next big news story is going to come out in the near future. If not, maybe even tomorrow. Who knows? Because let's be real here. We all know how the trending game works. 1 minute, you're the hot topic. Next thing you know, we're on to the next thing. Can you forgive Watcher? Well, I can't tell you what you should do, because what? You're another human being. You have a mind of your own. For me, it's like, even though I don't know any of these people personally, you kind of feel like you do know them in a way, because whether you've watched the Watcher content or the BuzzFeed content, I think I could speak for a number of people listening to my voice that these guys got you through some tough times. Let's say you were studying for an exam, or you should have been studying for an exam or doing a paper before the deadline. You took time to enjoy some of the Ghoul Boys antics, or whether they're at the Boysenberry theme park or a haunted house, or just talking about a murder. These guys were truly something else. I mean, for me, it was watching old episodes of Whose Line Is It Anyway in BuzzFeed back in the day. But you really feel like the guys, especially those of you who have gone to a bunch of like the live shows, for example, or maybe you just so happen to be in the location when they are filming a new episode of Unsolved, or Ghost Files or whatever. But I think that everybody's human. They make mistakes, but at the same time, I can completely understand those of you who feel like, you know, man, these people, I never thought Shane, Ryan, you know, of all people, I never thought they would, you know, go corporate on us and basically discard the audience that made them who they are today. And like I said, you know, before, I really feel like the video they dropped today, giving the apology as well as their updated strategy here about, hey, the content we produce is still going to be free. But if you want it about like a month in advance and ad free, get the streaming platform. Everybody on YouTube, you're still going to get the content free, but it's going to be, you know, a little bit later down the line as opposed to those of you who get the streaming platform. That kind of would have been like a best of both worlds thing, as opposed to what they dropped on Friday. I think for me, the biggest gut punch, and I'll keep saying this, the biggest gut punch is that this came the fuck out of nowhere. If they had like gradually rolled this thing out, it would have been a lot better. But the way it came across is like, hey, thanks to everybody who supported us, you know, whether it be watching the YouTube channel, especially those of you who supported us on Patreon, everyone who bought, you know, like merchandise, went to the live shows and, you know, did this and that to basically help us become the company we are today. Now you either got to pay to watch the content we create or you're plumb out of luck. And then the rumor still stands about whether or not they were originally planning to take everything off of YouTube completely. But man, oh man, hey, to heirs to forgive, but I am definitely understanding of those who are wary of giving these fellas your trust again, because the way they just randomly surprised us with the big announcement about the streaming platform, who's to say they won't do something like this again? Now, I will be honest here. Something tells me they won't do it, because given how quickly they responded to the backlash the first time, I feel like they probably learned their lesson. And to be fair, at least they're apologizing for just a bad business decision as opposed to like a major scandal. I mean, this could have been way worse than what it was. I'm just saying, because typically whenever YouTubers do an apology video, it's about, you know, highly offending someone, even though you could argue people were offended by how things went last Friday. But you know what I mean, by, you know, maybe some sort of like sketchy photo or video they were a part of. But no, this was just a situation where, even though Ryan, I believe, was the one who explained in the update video why they originally needed to do the streaming platform, I'm still not fully comprehending why. I mean, it's just one of those things where I guess we're just supposed to, hey, we laid it out for you twice, but if you don't get it, then you don't get it. It is what it is. You're going to get the free content anyway. I mean, I'm not going to do it right away, but I would, you know, if I was actually going to get this subscription, because I originally said that the only reason I would get the the Watcher TV subscription would be post a full season, a full new season of Puppet History being uploaded. I would get a 1 month subscription, then cancel just to watch those episodes. I can see some people really changing their mind and being like, you know what, I want to give these guys a second shot. And I love the fact that they're offering the free option, especially to the patrons, where you'll get a code to have free access to the streaming platform. And, you know, they're even issuing refunds to those who have, you know, hey, if you are a non-patron, let's say you bought the streaming service and you change your mind now that you know that, oh, wait, I'll get the streaming service content for free, but just a few weeks later, we'll give you a free refund. Hey, if you're a patron member, here's a code where you can get free access to the platform. And also, if you have paid for a subscription, reach out to us. We'll give you a full refund. I like that. To me, you know what? I give these dudes some credit. You know, it is going to be difficult to kind of move forward. But like I said, the way news cycles nowadays, most people will forget about this by the end of the week. Let's be completely honest right here. But some people, their trust has been completely broken. And I just want to give these guys credit. You know, people are like, oh, a PR person probably just wrote this. Yeah, it's kind of funny though, because this was a fine ass apology video as far as I'm concerned. They didn't have any, you know, this was the complete opposite of the video they dropped Friday. You know, like I mean, even if you look at like Shane's in the middle and Ryan's on the end. Steven, I believe, is like positioned in the same spot, but notice he's not doing a lot of talking, and he caught the most flack online, you know, like for the Tesla and the gold dusted food and things like that. And the out of touch statement of, you know, everybody should, we wanted to set a price that everybody could afford. And the fact that he said the least in this particular video, yet the first words out of his mouth were the words that needed to be said because everybody said the same thing. So we messed up. And it's another thing to point out. People say that if you look at the Goodbye YouTube video, Steven is the only one who seemed like chipper and upbeat, whereas Ryan and Shane kind of looked depressed. But then when you watch the update video, it's kind of like the roles are reversed, where Steven is the one who's really quiet and kind of depressed, while the other two are the more happy-go-lucky of the pair. I mean, of the trio. And I'm like, yeah, that actually does check out. But yeah, that's all I got to say on this particular video. I'll do a couple more. People have been asking me to do a video about the controversial post, because Sarah, who is Shane's wife, who was also at Buzzfeed at one time. If you watch Puppet History, I think you'll know her from there, because she is a frequent guest. She posted something on Tumblr that got people upset. I think somebody in the comments said Steven actually posted something as well. And then there was an employee that was kind of clapping back at the people who were mad about the streaming platform thing. But that'll be a whole nother video in itself. And yeah, I'll keep you updated as soon as I come across more stuff. But yeah, let me know if you are going to remain a Watcher fan. If you left Watcher, will you come back by subscribing to their channel? Or are you just done with them completely? Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.